What can high street agents learn from PurpleBricks? Talk to me.
I think with anything, I'm a great believer in assessing your competition, as you know. I think you need to know everything about your competition, good, bad and indifferent, if you're actually going to be in a position to A, improve yourself, and also B, take on them on an unfair fight, because the chances are they don't know you as well as you'll know them if you get this job right. So you're building the advantage in your favour. I think the things that people can learn from, I wouldn't just say PurpleBricks, but numerous others as well, is firstly it's demonstrated that there is an appetite out there for slightly different models as well, whether that in the long term changes. I think it's highlighted very clearly something I bang on about a lot, which is ancillary business, really, the opportunities. A lot of estate agents out there, actually, their main profit margin is probably attributable these days to the ancillary business, whether they switch.
That's the mortgage,
solicitors, conveyancing, relocations, survey referrals. It's all out there.
Insurance. And also, you mentioned in a previous video, because we've done a previous video on how to get more business out of the transaction, not just looking at their transaction, but the family around it and the reason.
Absolutely. You've got to think of it almost like a spider's web, effectively. You know, that applicant or that vendor is actually at the centre of a spider's web, and there are areas of business all the way over that are connected and interconnected with that person. Is whether you actually take the time to explore it. There used to be a saying, less is more, and I'm a great believer of that. You actually achieve more by dealing with less people, but dealing with an 80-20 rule that people often shout about. You know, 80% of your business comes from 20%, yet people are trying to rewrite that story. And you know, at the end of the day, whether it's successful or not, I don't know. But
I'm a huge believer in it. It does work.
It does work, I agree. And I think what you can learn maybe off some of the emerging models is that there are certain areas of the transaction that people do not want to deal with people, or less wanting to deal with people, and there are other areas of the transaction where people do. So if you look at it, a lot of valuation requests, viewing requests, people actually want to go online, click. When you actually get to the nitty-gritty of negotiating, when you actually get to the nitty-gritty of an actual post-sale transaction, and we're talking the conveyancing, what have you, they want human interaction.
Do you think we as agents tell a good enough story?
I think
to get that message across that we are different to the online.
I think it's interesting. If you look at valuations and you look at the performance of valuers on valuations and you video them and watch them, what happens is you get on a pattern. So you end up going the same thing, the same person, blah, blah, blah. And it's a dangerous route to get into, because what actually happens is you're not assessing that person individually. You're not looking at their individual needs. And I think, for me, it's understanding that each case is individual on its own merits.
So what the valuer needs to do is to actually listen to the punter and change their valuation technique
accordingly.
And how do they do that? Training?
I think that's training. It's actually forethought. And again, qualification. The negotiator that took the first valuation for, did they just get name, address, 3-bed detached house? Or did they get all the information, what they've got at the moment, where they want to go, what's their aspirations, which other agents are going out, what work have they done to the property?
Are you a fan of the pre-valuation phone call?
Absolutely. I think if the initial valuation request has been taken properly by the negotiator and set up correctly, actually the pre-valuation phone call can be a bit of a hindrance. The pre-valuation phone call very often is done to try and glean other information and confirm the appointment. Well, not being funny, if that job was done correctly in the first instance, back to what I said about duplication, the amount of time that's done, there's nothing wrong with picking up the phone to confirm an appointment, but actually if you're going to do that wants to be short, sharp and sweet. They need to forget that they've already given that information. You know, the best way to do evaluation is misdirection. A lot of people that are having the houses sold actually register as applicants in the first instance, property is sold not on the market. The easiest time to find out about somebody's property is when they're not thinking of their property, they're thinking of what they're looking to buy. But what you do is use them to explain their property, to mirror what they want to buy. You're collating that information now, ready for the valuation request further down the line.
Very clever, very clever. Thank you.